Welcome to the Real South Africa Travel and Tourism.
I am Dr. Natasha Blanton.
And I'm Mark Blanton and the owners. And we have amazing packages coming to Johannesburg. Everything we do is 5-star. Everything is private. And what else, Tasha?
Everything we do is exclusive and made just for you.
So all I can say is go to our website, therealsouthafrica.com. We'll see you here.
Make sure you pick up my 2 books that's in Amazon right now. The first one is Passive-Aggressive Racism and the System of White Supremacy. And I talk about in that particular book how the system of white supremacy really runs on our daily lives here in America. In our latest book, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, we go through those steps to try to deprogram you from the system of white supremacy. Make sure you can pick up those books on Amazon.com. Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
At African Diaspora News Channel, we cover stories that don't receive mainstream attention, and we serve as the voice to the global Black community. We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media, connecting the African diaspora one story at a time.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
Peace, family. My name is Vicki Dillard for African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're so pleased that you have taken the time to join us today, family. Let me tell you something. It is never lost time when you take moments to listen to what we have to say. Yes, I am Vicki Dillard here. Of course, this is the Vicki Show on this wonderful network. And you must understand that the ancients taught in more ways than one. Some of you are familiar with the sacred text that said, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." What does that tell you? Knowledge is so very important that it determines the actual trajectory or the direction of your life. So if you have access to quality and important and relevant information, that means that your journey is more likely to be successful, more fulfilling. And because you are armed with the knowledge that you need, you're able to make decisions and make choices that will get you better outcomes. Yes, that's very important. Data is so important that there is an entire AI war going on where they're trying to infiltrate artificial intelligence in every area of your life. Talk black to me, somebody. You have techno-feudalism that's going on today, which is the modern warfare. And it's also the modern currency. Talk black to me, somebody. Information is so important that we have issues with folks mining, pay attention to the phrase, our data online against our information and make you thinking that somebody is prophesying over your life because stuff started to pop up that you did not intentionally request, but that's because they're tracking you. There's also a spiritual equivalency to that. There's also a social and a political equivalency to that. So don't overestimate the importance and the power of what you are hearing, consciously and subconsciously. Yes, don't take it for granted that you have networks like this one's, voices like mine that are here to arm you with the knowledge that you need. It's not nothing. It's not just chit-chatting and talking. I love to say all the time, and I don't know why I'm on this rant right now before I get into today's topic, but it's important that you know this. I've been doing this for a long time, notwithstanding tumultuous health issues, tumultuous targeting, extraordinary circumstances and situations. And I still managed to show up, without you knowing the behind the scenes stuff and the price that I paid over the years and currently to do what I do. The extraordinary opposition and hate by the powers that shouldn't be. And then some of you will say, well, what's the solution? Get to the solution. I find that interesting. Would you tell that to your children's 12 years worth of teachers? Stop talking. I liken what I do to a weather woman or a weatherman. When a weather woman or a weatherman is giving you information, they're giving you the temperature, they're giving you information so that you would know the conditions of the climate and the environment. Are you going to call down to the news station and say, I heard you say it's going to rain tomorrow? What does that mean? What's the solution? That tells you the condition of your mind and the laziness and the utter docility that we've been programmed into, to where you would ask me, who's arming you with information and knowledge, what the solution is, when you ought to be working your own brain and determining, just like when you're watching the weather, you should be assessing your situation to determine if you should leave early for work. You should be assessing whether or not you should get the babies out early and whether or not they need rain jackets and umbrellas. Use your head. Thinking is new for some people. But you better dust your brain off, because we're at war. And we need all hands on deck. And you don't get to point to the face of the struggle for them to do everything. You're going to have to fund it. You're going to have to support it. And you're going to have to start thinking and strategizing. There are different kinds of soldiers. Play your role. That is not in my notes. Somebody must have needed it. That's that Southern dictionary talk. Surely someone needed to hear that information. Let me say it proper, because some of y'all get triggered when I get deep in what I say. Talk black to me, somebody. Everybody hit that thumbs up button to share. Thank you for indulging my quick, unintended, but very, I believe, important rant that you needed to hear today. Now, family, I want us to talk about something very briefly, very quickly. In the midst of all these talks about immigration here in the United States, especially illegal immigration, where so many illegal folks who have violated the law. What do you call people that violate the law? Say it with me. Criminals. Some of you all are so scared to say that in the context of these types of criminals, but you don't show the same types of indulgences for my people for non-petty, non-violent crimes. So I'm going to have to keep throwing it out there to show you your own prejudice, because you think that this is a cute crime. It's a crime that we rename and use fluffy, cute little terms like dreamers. They dreamers. The babies of the illegals, those that's coming over here knowingly, unknowingly, but that's young, they dreaming. That would be fine if those sorts of civil indulgences, those sorts of social diplomacies were extended to my people, especially since we bled and died for this country. Y'all don't think of cute terms to call us. But anyway, in the midst of this talks about immigration, we have to continue to connect the dots and to remind you of what's really going on. There are multiple agendas that's involved in this. There are multiple agents and plots and plans. Everybody in one way or another, in their own ways, trying to benefit off of what's going on. So please keep that in mind. And the reason we who are Black Americans, some of us, I beg your pardon, identify as foundational Black Americans, not because it's a club or a corporation. We're just trying to delineate so that you will know we're that particular group of Black folks that are responsible for the creation and the foundation of what you know as the United States of America, the country for which many of you have come here saying that you want to experience the American dream based on our nightmare. I want you to understand that this immigration issue is bigger than immigration. If we're going to be honest, it has really very little to do with quote unquote folks coming from other countries. From my perspective, why you say that, Vicki? This situation is exposing the utter anti-Blackness, the utter hypocrisy, and the utter weakness, and the utter oppressive nature and agenda of the entire U.S. government on both the Republican side and the Democrat side. It is showing the absolute anti-Black biases in all of its agencies in every sphere of influence in this country. We are seeing corporations, companies, businesses, all sorts of congresspersons. We're seeing every bureaucracy. We're seeing its weakness. That's what I want you to focus on. And then we get in where we fit in. With that being said, for the longest time, it was the Democrats that led our people to believe in this country that it is the Republicans only that are the racists, that are anti-Black, and that don't care about people. Right? Well, we know now that's a big fat lie coming from the Democrat Party, the do-nothing Democrat Party. The Democrat Party, well, that's not really true. We shouldn't really call them the do-nothing. We should call them the do-nothing for foundational Black Americans. Because what you have shown, Democrats, is that you have used our votes to make extraordinary gains for everybody but us. Let me hit the gavel on that. If you don't know, the Vicki Show is a home of the hand claps and the gavel raps. That means I want you to know that we legislate. We do our own types of legislation here. Legislation. The gavel shouldn't be just used by your lawmakers and your politicians and your judges. I want you to know that your word matters. Watch this. Now, for the longest time, the Democrats tricked their most loyal voting bloc for at least 3 generations. So approximately 60 plus years, Black folks have been overwhelmingly and largely in the majority voting for Democrats. That's why we give the Democrats so much work, because we're actually giving them power to change our condition, and they're proving to us that they're going to change everybody's condition but us and take us for granted. That's the reason why it doesn't move us when y'all say, well, what you think y'all going to get with the Republicans? What y'all think is going to happen? Do y'all think y'all going to get reparations if you vote for Republicans? Ninja, what we know for sure, not just based on speculation. This is not just an hypothesis that's based on even an educated guess. What we know for sure based on a 60+ year record is what the Democrats ain't going to do. So you see how that doesn't make sense when you all say, do y'all think y'all going to get reparations without voting? We've been voting. And we haven't gotten reparations. So that, you see how that don't make sense? You see how your mind don't go down the right track when you say those kinds of weird things? The Democrats have an actual record that we can look at to know what to expect from them. They've shown us voting for them for 60 years will not get you what you want. Keep that in mind. Now, I want you, with all that being said, to watch this very brief clip that I want us to get ready to show you here in just a second from a high-ranking, long-serving Democrat, Chuck Schumer. Now, you're going to see him in the midst of a press conference actually articulate for you. Of course, I've shown this to you all over the past couple of years since I've known about this on multiple platforms. Yeah, so if you all are used to seeing me on another platform, on another social media place, another network, you know Vicki has been talking about this, and I'm not going to stop because it's relevant now. Yes? Right before they show you that, what I want to say to you is this. Why am I talking about this right now? Because I want you all to understand that this push with this immigration talk about legalizing the illegal immigrants, what does that mean? Please read through the lines. When we are pushing and advocating for illegal immigrants, criminals that have come to this country, that's violated the law to come to the country, whatever the reason, even if they're sweet and kind, they're a sweet, kind criminal. Yes? What they're saying when they're pushing, particularly the Democrats in this instance, what they're saying when they say let's legalize them, when they keep emphasizing let's give them legal status, do you all understand? They're not just talking about giving them documentation or a piece of paper to show so that they can live here and not be worried about deportation. When they say let's give them legal status, they're talking about let's clear their records so that they can integrate into society and benefit further with tangibles. That is upsetting to me because what you're saying is let's clear illegal immigrants, foreigners' records. And don't worry about the foundational Black Americans that we helped to trip up and create crimes to destroy their families for many generations. Forget clearing up their records, especially those that have that are accused of petty crimes. Forget clearing up their records so that it makes their lives easier. We're going to butt in line. We're going to stab them in the back, and we're going to put everybody before them. That's what we're saying when you say, let's clear illegal immigrants' records. Do you get that? I want you to watch now this video clip. I believe we have it here. I want you to watch this brief, short clip of Chuck Schumer. This was a couple of years ago or so. He was at a press conference on illegal immigration, right? He's been pushing immigration laws for many years. Don't get it twisted. But I'm showing you this because this is one of the more, in recent times, this is one of the more recent press conferences where he says what we call the quiet part out loud. the agenda out loud, he's given you a major clue as to what they're actually pushing and the reason behind why the Democrats are pushing for illegal migrants to receive legal status unjustly. Watch this very, very, very brief clip.
Immigrants make us stronger now more than ever. Now more than ever. We're short of workers. We have a population that is not reproducing it on its own with the same level that it used to. The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers, and all of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers, but get a path to citizenship for all 11 million or however many undocumented there are here.
Okay, family. Now, did you see that? He said, now more than ever, we need to legalize 11 plus. And then he said, however many illegals are here. He said, we need to give them legal status. And he said, because there's a certain group, a certain population in this country that's not producing children like they used to. He's talking about white folks. He's talking about his own community. That's one of several agendas that you all need to keep in mind when they keep pushing this and when you all keep scratching your head and wonder why are they doing this, baby. When you wonder why when you wonder why them folks are sitting there pushing, talking about abortion laws and all that kind of stuff, which of course we don't agree with. Many of us don't agree with. Watch this, but I'm just showing you the utter hypocrisy and the reason why they pushing it because they numbers low and they about to get up out of here organically. That's their motive behind it. You understand? And Chuck Schumer, one of the longest serving, high-ranking senators out of New York, told you exactly that. But he says, let's give them legal status. I want to read to you from this article from the American Immigration Council. I'm gonna see. I think we have that link available for them here? Do we have that one? No. I'm gonna read to you this article. I think the one that we have available for you is this article. There are many that are out there, but I'm just using this one to show you some of the benefits of why they're doing that. Of what happens when you legalize the illegals, right? 9 benefits of expunging your criminal record. Now, Foundation of Black Americans, we can prove in no limited time that the United States government created laws to entrap us in, to drive us back to slavery. Did you all know that? How many of you all know, for example, the loitering laws that were first brought into place, that had a racist origin as well? I don't know if some of you all knew that or not. What do I mean by that? When you study even what you call loitering or vagrancy laws, how many of y'all heard of that before? Well, I'm reading now from Facing History and Ourselves. I didn't provide this article, but I just want you to listen to me. It says here that the history of slave patrols, black codes, and vagrancy laws. The mini lesson provides a brief overview of the history of policing in the early United States and examines how laws and biased enforcement of those laws were used to control the lives of Black Americans in the South following the Civil War. One of the things that I pulled this particular piece up was it had to do with loitering, right? And what we call the vagrancy laws, right? Where in this piece, it specifically talks about, as I just mentioned before, I just gave you the subheading there. But one of the things it talks about is the reason why loitering laws were put in place. Why were loitering laws put in place? How many of you all, you can use your imagination and know this, to see this, the logic in the oppressor's mind, but these are just facts that you can research. After so-called freedom, after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation, after the so-called freeing of chattel slaves, right? How many of you all know that our open enemy was looking for sneaky ways to drive us back to the plantation? They understood that they were not going to actually give the majority of us tangibles or reparations or the 40 acres and the mule and other similar tangibles, right? So that we can live our own lives outside of them. So what do? They rigged the system using laws. I'm going to say it again. They rigged the system using laws. Are y'all hearing me? So immediately after that, they imposed, among many, many, many other laws, what's known as vagrancy laws or loitering laws. What does that mean? What does that mean? That means that they made it illegal for black folks to be hanging out somewhere. Now you see when you go into certain stores or, you know, gas stations and stuff like that, you'll see no loitering, no hanging out. No, the origin of that, baby, had to do with no hanging out was because they knew that by making it illegal for you to hang out somewhere and not be quote unquote working, they made that a law so that they could get you back into prison. What did they end up doing? They used our prison labor. They created laws to entrap us. That was a net that they used to entrap us and pull us back on the plantation. Then they started a whole new system that was called convict leasing. That's why they call you a convict. They intentionally create laws that were outrageous and ridiculous, meant to entrap you, so that they can use the laws as an excuse to put you back on the slave plantation, but they would call it by another name. In this instance, it was called convict leasing, which meant that they would use prisoners' labor. And so they had contracts and deals that they would make with landowners and use your labor, convicting you first with the law of loitering or vagrancy. In modern times, how many of you all know that the disparity of crack cocaine? For those of you that don't know, the origin of crack came from the U.S. government. The government made a drug and intentionally flooded the black communities with it. How they made the drug is they understood that the crack cocaine was mostly used later. They found this out mostly by black folks in hoods and stuff in particular. And that white folks loved the powdered one where they would sniff at parties. Millionaires sniffing at parties. So when they instituted the laws, do you all know that they lowered the sentencing for the powder cocaine and gave higher sentencing for the crack cocaine because they found that those that did crack were mostly those that are in the black neighborhood, which your government created and made and flooded the communities with. Then they turned around and made laws to entrap black folks with. And how many of y'all know that they initially raised money from our black communities by entrapping us, creating a drug, creating crimes, so they can fund a war that Congress first told them that they would not fund? That's connected to the Iran-Contra scandal. Look it up. That's America. So I want you to keep that in mind, that they create laws, they make laws to entrap us in. They not only create laws, are you listening? They create crimes to entrap us in. And this immigration drama is just one of those ones that they use the laws against us. Now, this article that I want us to pull up, that's from Clean Slate Law, it says 9 benefits of expunging your criminal record. I'm going to skip down here under the part that said, what is expungement? An expungement is a legal process that seals your criminal record from public view. It protects your privacy and allows you to take advantage, listen, of job, school, and other opportunities that previously were unavailable because of your arrest and charges showing up in a criminal background. Keep that in mind when you're thinking about the illegal immigrants that's coming here and Congress and everybody rushing to give them legal status so that they can clear up their records and get similar benefits that other quote unquote criminals that are disproportionately black would never get. How come the Democrats aren't pushing for FBAs records to be cleared? What does it say under there? It says more and better job opportunities. It says that if you are or have been on a job hunt, you've no doubt realized how hard it is to find a great job. If you have a criminal record, if you do manage to get hired, it's probably not the kind of work or pay you really want. Some charges and convictions immediately disqualify you for government jobs that have great pay and benefits. Sure, you can seek a job that doesn't require a background check, which is getting rarer and rarer, but those jobs may not offer enough to pay the bills. Are y'all listening? Instead of working multiple low-paying jobs, invest in yourself with an expungement. Once your criminal record is sealed, you legally don't have to disclose the incident on job applications, and you can apply for the jobs you really want in confidence. I hit the gavel on that because that's exactly what they're not doing for foundational Black Americans, but they're rushing to do for the illegal immigrants. When we say, let's hurry up and give them legal status, we're allowing them to conceal their crimes so that they can get good jobs, good opportunities, and good housing and other benefits, especially many benefits that are derived from the government. I'm skipping. Number 2, it says better education opportunities. Are y'all listening? Are y'all listening? The second part says what? Better education opportunities. Y'all ain't hearing me today. Many people that says choose to go to college or jumpstart a new career. If that involves going to graduate school, your criminal record could become a real barrier, even in education. Most graduate programs are very competitive to get into. Unfortunately, your criminal record might be the deciding factor between you and another candidate who in all other ways is on an equal footing with you. If you want to return to school to build your dream career, consider an expungement. Y'all, are y'all listening to how I'm trying to connect these dots? Yes? This is important, fam. What else does it say? I'm not going to read all this. I'm just going to read a couple more. Remove the stigma of having a criminal record. That's number 3. As you move past your mistake and no longer identify as a person you once were, the weight of your conviction can take a toll. One of the most impactful benefits of expunging your criminal record is simply removing the weight and stigma of your record. So America got Foundation of Black Americans running around here like the scarlet letter, stigmatizing us to limit the benefits that we would get throughout society and education, with jobs and career and money and financial opportunities, but they're pushing to put illegals in front of us so that they can get all these benefits. Move along, Vicki. Number 4, more options for housing. Y'all ain't listening. They trying to give them stability in this country. But have you ever seen Chuck Schumer's funny looking self out there doing a press conference to demand legal status for all foundational Black Americans? Especially those that were unjustly entrapped in the criminal system by this U.S. government that we can prove with facts set us up in most instances. Read, Vicki. Number 4, more options for housing. Many landlords, and I'm this, for example, using Oklahoma, conduct background checks on potential tenants before signing a rental agreement. Court records are easy to obtain, and landlords are normally cautious about renting to someone with a criminal past, regardless how long ago it happened. And expungement can open the door to more and better rental opportunities. So even where you stay, housing. Are y'all paying attention? Number 5, starting or expanding your family. If you or your partner are considering foster parenting and or adoption to grow your family, you may find that your criminal record is a barrier. In most cases, the Department of Human Services will conduct a background check on foster parent candidates. It can be difficult to get approved if you have a criminal record. Number 6, public assistance. Are y'all listening? People with felony convictions may end up facing collateral consequences of their conviction, meaning they may face punishments. This is the big part that I want you to listen. They may face punishments even after they complete their sentence. For example, some states don't grant SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as food stamps, or TANF, temporary assistance for the needy families to benefit people with felony drug convictions. Think about that. I'm going to just read number 7 and we're going to be done here. Lower insurance premiums. After certain charges, such as the DUI, you may see your car insurance premiums rise. And expungement can lower those premiums, saving you quite a bit of money over time. It can also make you eligible for a CDL license, which can be out of reach with a DUI conviction. How many of y'all know CDL is about commercial license? It's a type of license that can make sure that you get a better job, especially with certain types of driving and trucking and stuff like that. Yes, that also tend to come with better benefits, which also affects the quality of your life, which also affects the quality of your family's life, which also affects the quality of the neighborhood that you live in. Do you all understand that by simply clearing records can absolutely change the quality of a person's life in these ways and more? And the hypocrisy and the backstabbing and the absolutely diabolical do-nothing Democrats that have not conducted Miss Representative Ocasio-Cortez. How many of y'all saw my broadcast yesterday? I know some of you all, the notification didn't go out for everybody, but y'all check out my broadcast that I did yesterday. Go through the videos under the lives and check out my broadcast that I did yesterday on Miss AOC. I'm done with the article, fam. AOC. That's the representative out of New York. She's sitting up here bringing in lawyers to do special webinars to teach illegal criminals on how to evade ICE, federal law enforcement agency. She is basically teaching them and aiding and abetting, some have argued, how to break the law. She's not just teaching them their rights. She's teaching them how to duck from ICE. The current immigration ICE czar, Mr. Holman, broke it down and said, This woman is sitting there teaching them how to duck and dodge ICE after a federal judge, after they've gone through the legal process, has said that they should be deported. She is teaching them slick tips and ways under the guise of teaching them their rights. When has AOC ever taught black folks, giving us any rights or any tips on how we can use the law to get tangibles for us? They haven't. I want you all to know that the Democrats had very strategic opportunities where they control both the presidency, the House of Representatives, and the Senate under both Obama in his initial terms, in his initial term, and under Biden. So your most two recent Democrat presidencies and administration, they failed to use the leverage that they had. They didn't need not one Republican. If every Democrat was for reparations, they didn't need them to give us reparations. They chose not to. So we don't need no civics class from no black boule that want to tell us how civics work on how we can get reparations. No, y'all control all three major houses, no, both two houses of Congress and the presidency, rather. And you didn't do it. But aside from that, even with the Republicans controlling those things now, are the Democrats using their voices, holding press conferences like Chuck Schumer to demand that all FBA records be cleared so that we can get better jobs and opportunities? Which congressional black caucus member, which white congressional member, which Hispanic congressional member, which Asian congressional member are holding webinars for foundational black Americans so that we can figure out ways to get benefits from the government? If they got contracts now that they know could disproportionately benefit black folks, are they even holding webinars using their congressional access, bringing in lawyers like AOC? She brought in lawyers to help them, y'all, with all this when she did this webinar. Are they using those resources to do what they can to educate us and say, hey, this is how we can give y'all some money and tangibles with the things? We're going to use our office. We're going to use webinars. We're going to bring in lawyers. Are they even doing that? They're not. And I want you all to start strategizing in whatever city, whatever state you find yourself in on how you can hold your government accountable to say how this is backstabbing and how dare them aid and abet what we consider to be aiding and abetting illegal criminals, assist them in ways that they haven't even assisted us. I'm sure you can figure out a whole lot more from what I just said. Yes. Beloved, be sure to check out my website at VickiPlanet.com. That's VICKI Planet.com. I spell my name because some of y'all like to spell my name all kind of ways. If you're trying to spell Vicky with E's and Y's and double K's, you're not going to find it. And my name is not short for Victoria because my mama said I didn't look like a Victoria. My name is spelled VICKI. That's why I always spell it so that you can find me. Yes, go to VickiPlanet.com so that you can find out about my products and services. Family, be sure to tune in tonight for Brother Fields Live. Be sure to check out my other colleagues' broadcast. And don't forget, family, sometimes if notifications don't go out, be sure to look for us, okay? I'm here Tuesday through Thursday live at 2 p.m. Eastern. Yes, I'm so pleased that you joined us today. Be sure to share the broadcast. I can't